Is Carrie Underwood allowed to bring her family on tour? One report says the American Idol winner is facing guilt and pressure from her husband Mike Fisher. Is he refusing to allow the children to go on tour? Here's what we know. According to the National Enquirer, Underwood's 12-year marriage is in serious trouble because Fisher doesn't want the family to go along on the tour. A source says, they're not at crisis point, but they're not at their best either, and her friends are telling her she needs to focus on her marriage before she heads out on the road. As it stands, Underwood will go on tour for 7 months beginning in October, followed by another Las Vegas residency. She's supposedly communicating with Fisher on how to make the marriage work with her on tour. An insider explains why Fisher doesn't want to join her: the kids are getting older and they need stability, and Mike's not too enthused about living out of a suitcase for 7 months. This tabloid fails to mention that Fisher was a professional hockey player for nearly 20 years. He and Underwood got married in 2010, but he didn't retire for good until 2018. That means he spent 8 years traveling with the Nashville Predators while she toured, many of those years with young children at home. If anyone is used to living out of a suitcase, it has to be a professional athlete. We just can't buy that Fisher would suddenly detest all the travel when he spent nearly his entire adult life traveling. We also know for a fact that Underwood is more of a homebody than him. In a recent interview on country radio with Kelly Bannon, Underwood said, "I don't want to travel. I don't want to go anywhere, I love being at home. I would literally never leave my house. It's Fisher who pushes the family to leave the house. I'm like, we don't need to go out all the time, so I pull him back a little bit. And then he's like, we need to go somewhere sometimes. Can we please interact with other people?" Underwood says. The fact that she's speaking in glowing terms about her husband makes the story of marital strife impossible to believe. Back in 2020, the Enquirer announced Underwood was a control freak and the marriage was in danger. Less than a year later, it claimed Underwood was relying on her residency to save the marriage, but it quickly changed its story to say Fisher hated the residency. Each of these stories promoted irreconcilable differences, yet Underwood and Fisher are still married. If Fisher's been fine with her touring schedule for 12 years, then there's no reason he wouldn't support her now. This story is bogus.